So yeah, Vortex here, and welcome to my kind of comparison video between the original DQ6, which is the silver one with the clear shell, and the new Hawaii bad boy collaboration with KZ. This is the DQ6S. Obviously the shells are kind of the same. You can get this in this kind of dark grey, like smoky look. I like that, it's quite subtle. Or you can get the rose gold back plate, which I'm not too keen on. And yeah, I just wanted to do a different, like a video, the differences between them, because it's been, I think the original, this one has been out for 13, 14 months, I think, something like that, as of when this video is made. Also, the original is much easier to source because it's obviously been out for a while. The DQ6S, as you can see, has got the Hawaii bad boy logo. If it focuses, you can see there. So yeah, that's the differences. So yeah, let's get on to tips. So they come with two different kind of tips. So this newer one, you can see it's got the starline tips. You can see the lines down it. But this one comes with like the newer kind of soft tips. I think the newer ones are better. I'm not really keen on these. So the included newer tips I think are better. Take these off. Just so, yeah. So the newer tips are better. So these are both the left units, kind of all the same really, same kind of dimensions. So nozzles, obviously they've used a different kind of material. This rounds off towards the top. See at the very top, it rolls in. The newer one doesn't, so it's more square. So it squares off straight at the top. So the difference is there, and that's it. So the same kind of material inside. I think the tuning is done further in, maybe with materials and maybe a crossover difference, but that's just it for like the visual look. Again, that if you have issues with the comfort on this one because of the fin, you have an issue with the comfort on the new one because of the fin. But obviously the main differences are sound, so I'm not going to talk about the accessories, the cables and all that you've seen. I will link both the videos so you can check the accessories and stuff like that. So this is just sound really. So I'm going to overlay my graph now of my power I've measured. As you can see, they measure different. Either end and the mids seem the same. So let's talk about low end. So the low end is obviously on the newer one, the DQ6S. It is easily elevated and you can tell that. Personally, I did like the low end of the original. It had an uplift over neutral, but it wasn't boomy or like, it was a good balance of level, a good bass level, shall we say. So it wasn't light, it wasn't heavy. I think it suited quite a lot of genres. It all depends on your actual library, but I did like the original. Obviously the new one has more. Now that may be too bassy for you, or if you're a bass head it's fine, but I'm just saying the new one has the extra bass. I can take it or leave it. I do like bass because I typically do listen to electronic. I do listen to a lot of genres overall, but that's typically like my main kind of genre I listen to. And obviously electronic, EDM, trance, side trance, tech trance, techno, or whatever, all branches. No. It's more fun and more exciting with more low end. So I do like the extra bass, but on some tracks that's not that. It may be a bit too much. It's all kind of personal preference for bass really, but I don't mind either, but I think it sounds a little bit cleaner with the original bass, but that's obviously up to you. Mids, I found fairly similar. They're a little bit more shouty on the original. I think it's just because it spikes up a bit more. Again, fatigue-free mids really on both. Bit more on the newer one. I found was a little bit more less fatiguing. A bit more. What's the word? It'll come to me in a bit. But yeah, the newer one is just a little bit more. It's a little bit smoother there, easy to listen to, a little bit more natural in the mids. Again, apart from that, I didn't really see much of a difference. Obviously smoother for me is better, less fatiguing is better. So yeah, mids I'm fine with each. They both sound good, like as expected. They both have a bit of bleed at the bottom. I don't mind that, stops things sounding thin, gives certain instruments more of a kick. You know, it makes it a little bit more exciting, so I was happy with that. Now the biggest part of these, I think, is the treble region. Now the original, I never really liked it because it's a bit too peaky for my opinion, and it can be sharp and fatiguing. I didn't like that. But the newer one, again, as it's a lot, I won't say smoother, it's less fatigue or zero fatigue. It's much better to listen to. It's much more enjoyable because they're not dark earphones. They're just easy to listen to, but you've still got all the details of your favourite tracks you've listened to before. I think they sound great. Again, they've got a really nice balance to them in that region. Well, the whole raw spectrum, I'm very happy with the balance. Obviously they are, again, like I said, a bit bassy, but the treble region is fine. The reduction of it is much improved. I do like that. Means instead you haven't tried to mod things or EQ things and stuff like that, the DQ6S can be used out of the box. Like no mods, no EQ, plug your earphones in and away you go. And I like that. So yeah, that's the treble region, much easier to listen to, like I said. Zero fatigue really, and they've still got all the details. Maybe for some genres you might want a bit more treble back in a way to give you a bit more, make it sound a bit more lively. But I do like the overall fairly safe treble with the new one. And yeah, so obviously you've seen the graphs. So what these like for music overall, I do prefer the newer one, 100%. I do like the bass on the old one. The new one overall is a better tuning, and the tips that comes with are better. I do like the newer kind of cables as well with the KZs instead of like the older ones that they used to come with. But yeah, much better to listen to, much more enjoyable with the new ones than the old ones, considering they're meant to be like roughly the same price. But again, like the newer ones are a bit harder to get. I do recommend them in the kind of this subtle, maybe boring kind of shape. Like I said, bear wary of the fin, that may or may not kind of affect you. But yeah, I find the new ones more enjoyable. It's good to see a newer model be better than the old one. Like the slightly off tangent, but when the CCA C10, then they released a Pro. The Pro was worse than the original, for example. So bear that in mind. But yeah, overall, the newer one is much more enjoyable. It's much easier to listen to. You still get all the information without it being dark, less fatiguing. Great overall sound, really. Obviously, 3 dynamic drivers per side. As far as I'm aware, it's the same drivers in the original, which is over there. I do like that clear shell. It means you can really see what you want. Obviously, this newer one, it's harder to see the good stuff. Obviously, you can see it through there. And obviously, the 2 dynamics are up the top. I don't think they really do much. I think the big DD is doing most of the work. And yeah, I won't go on too long, but yeah, the new one I think is more enjoyable. And it's my recommendation between them. And in the near future, I'm going to do I think like an under $50 kind of recommended list. Obviously, I'd include that. I may include the CCA, CRA, and a few other things like that. But that'd be a future video so watch out for that. And obviously, that's for the people who watched the video so far. So thank you very much. And yeah, I'm probably going to end it there. But yeah, the new one is better. Just be wary of the same signatures you've seen from the graphs, and if that fin may or may not be uncomfortable for you, obviously that's up to you. And yeah, so I think that's it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and take care.